By the way, the Sean Payton thing is not surprising. Not at all. We all knew it was coming. We all knew that he was exhausted. We all knew that he had a long, long season, 4 different quarterbacks, 9-8, 17 games. First year without Drew Brees shows you how hard it is. And the fact, it also shows you how good of a coach he is. That he got that team to 9-8. It was kind of like Bill Belichick getting his team last year with Cam Newton to 7-9. So, I'm not surprised about that. Will he go into TV? Yeah, probably. I wouldn't be surprised if his agent hasn't dabbled with some discussions with TV people. He has the same agent as, I believe, Tom Brady. So, his agent's involved in doing a million different things. And I'm sure that, he could either do studio stuff, he could do game stuff. Amazon's getting in the mix next year. Monday Night Football may be looking for a new booth. Who knows? There's all sorts of opportunities for a guy like Sean Payton. He's a good dude. He's a good coach. He's a lot of fun to be around. There's no question about that. And then for those people who think he's going to be coaching the Cowboys in 2 years, that's a distinct possibility. But I will say this. He has 3 years left on his contract with the Saints. Mm-hmm. And, he's walking away from that 3-year contract. And the Saints are saying, okay, you could do that. But if you're going to come back and coach, we will be compensated for these 3 years that you were leaving on your contract.
Yeah, so if the Cowboys make a run at him at the end of this season, they're still going to have to trade for him.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Whenever Sean Payton wants to come back to work, he still has a 3-year deal with the Saints that he signed.
But starting...
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter
when he wants to work.
Whenever he starts, that 3 years now goes back into place.
Yeah.
And, assuming that the Saints would want him back at that point.
Sure.
Let's say the Saints go out and get a new coach. Maybe it's somebody internally that they have there, or they bring in a new coach. And it's unlikely, but let's say that they go on and they win a Super Bowl with the next coach. Then they wouldn't be so interested in bringing Sean Payton back. I could also see the Saints going completely south and going back to a 4-win team again.
Well, that looks like a bad situation if you ask me.
Well,
their quarterback isn't solved. Their cap situation is bad.
Well, they'll get through the cap stuff. They'll get through all that stuff, and they'll figure it out.
Yeah, but that's a big part of the roster. There's guys that get paid a lot of money who are talented, who may not be there. And then the quarterback situation is bad. It's one of the league's worst.
Yeah. And the one thing I would also say is that I don't necessarily know that I would want to be the one to replace Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Those are pretty big shoes. And anything you do and everything you do is going to be compared to what he did there. And remember, it all started with Hurricane Katrina, rebuilding that city, a football team, as we see in Kansas City and Buffalo and Cincinnati. These teams are a part of the community and the fabric of the community, and they can bring a lot of joy to a lot of people that are experiencing a lot of pain. I know it's just a football team, but yet it still represents your city and the people who live there. So he did a lot of stuff way back when, along with Drew Brees and all their teammates, to kind of rebuild that city and try to get it right again. And I remember I was there for opening night when they rebuilt the Superdome, and we were there for a Monday night game, and it was just amazing. The feeling in the building and the fact that New Orleans was back and everything else. So he was a part of all of that. So he'll be beloved forever down there. And that's why I think, if he wants to go back 2 years from now and coach the Cowboys, if that's the case, or next year even, somebody's going to have to compensate the Saints. It's a big
Mike McCarthy's got to hate all this talk. That's what everybody's saying. Everybody's going, well, Jerry Jones is going to go get Sean Payton after next year.
Let's say Mike McCarthy takes the Cowboys to the Super Bowl next year. Then that's not even going to be an issue.
I guess. So you're saying he's going to get an opportunity to prove himself next year?
Yeah, 100%. He's not going. I don't foresee Sean Payton doing anything this year remotely close to coaching anybody.
It sounded like, he was honest yesterday in that press conference. You don't really get that type of honesty from guys in those types of situations. And he laid it out like, my future may include coaching. It's just not going to happen right now. And
just remember, he's got 3 years, $45 million left on his contract. So that means his last contract, he was making $15 million a year. He'd been there, for 16 years? I'm thinking he got the 1 year suspended at $7.5 million at that point.
Yeah.
So, he has had to have made well north of $100 million. And, that's basically FU money. Yeah, that's like I could do whatever I want money.
Yeah, he's going to pop up on TV somewhere, I'm sure, for a year, because he also talked about he was open about retirement. He goes, so these commercials make it seem like retirement is something special and everybody's on a golf course having the greatest time of their life. He's like, I'm not so sure that's exactly what it would be like for me. He's someone that wants to do stuff. He's someone who has the energy to do stuff.
I don't know if he has the personality of Gruden to go in there and be like the Monday night guy like Gruden was for all those years.
Yeah, Gruden was a character.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, he was a total character. Sean's a little bit, he's got a great personality and he's got a great way about himself, and I'm sure he feels like he could probably do it. But John Gruden was like a wacko.
Yeah, I've kind of pegged a couple guys wrong, though, when leaving the field into the booth. For example, with Rex Ryan, I kind of thought that, everybody thought Rex Ryan was going to be great, and then it took him a while to find his footing on television. Tony Romo, I never understood why Tony Romo was in such high demand, but then he burst on the scene and became a star in the booth next to Jim Nantz. And I didn't know that about Tony Romo's personality. I had no idea that he had that type of stuff in him. So I'm not so sure. You really don't know until these guys get in those situations behind the microphone if they're good at it or not. But, he's sharp. He obviously knows the game as well as anybody out there.
The question is, can he be himself in whatever role he decides to go into, if it is a TV role? Can he truly be himself, or is he going to be guarded and be very careful about, not wanting to hurt anybody's feelings when he does their games?
Yeah, he doesn't seem like that type of guy who's worried about stepping on toes, but...
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
He goes into TV and he's doing games, let's say, for ESPN, and he's got a Giant game with whoever the new head coach of the Giants is going to be, and the Giant head coach has got to be thinking, this guy's going to be the Cowboy coach in 2 years.
Yeah.
Especially if the Cowboys start going south. Am I really going to sit there and talk to him and give him everything that I got to go into this broadcast with? Because now I'm telling him exactly who we are, what we're all about. Coaches tend to be a little bit paranoid about their information.
Yeah, and he doesn't necessarily have to be in the booth calling games. If I were NBC, I'd kick Dungy out of there and put Sean Payton in there, get somebody interesting. That guy's a bore. That's probably what I would do. Put him in a situation like that on a desk.
A desk.
I'd put him behind a desk.
I'm at a desk.
I'd put him behind a desk.
I'm at a desk.
Yeah.
I'm at a desk right now.
You are at a desk.
You're at a desk.
I'm at a desk.
So what's wrong with being at a desk?
I never said anything was wrong with it.
The way you said it, you made it sound like there's something wrong with being at a desk.
No. And
we sit at a desk every day.
I did not mean to imply that there was something wrong with sitting behind a desk.
Kind of felt that way.
No, I was more just like I'd put him behind a desk.
Put him behind a desk.
That's what I would do.
You think he belongs behind a desk? Coaches spend a lot of time behind a desk too, by the way.
No, of course they do.
Probably be the most comfortable.
Yeah, I don't. The other thing about
Drew Brees.
Yeah, Drew Brees has a long way to go.
Well, of course, again, why? Because he can't be himself. He's not ready to be himself yet. Eventually, he'll get there.
But what if himself is just not that job?
No. He can.
Jason Witten was terrible.
Well, he couldn't be himself either because he was nervous.
Yeah, but he was just awful.
He was nervous and didn't want to go after people, and maybe he just didn't know the game as well as he thought he knew the game.
Interesting.
Which brings me to my next point about interviewing coaches.
Yeah.
And understanding the game and understanding situational football, which basically we saw about 95 different instances over this past weekend with these past 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to ask you a question. Okay, you're kind of, you want to be my team's coach.
Okay, so you're interviewing me, and I'm the head coaching candidate.
And I'm going to ask you a question.
All right.
And I just want to see what your answer is. I don't know if there's a right answer or a wrong answer. I know what I'd like to hear. But let me just give you this instance, okay?
Okay.
You're playing the New York Jets. This year, you had Zach Wilson as the rookie quarterback. And you're down 4 points, you're north of the 2-minute warning, and you have all 3 timeouts, and you have the ball. Okay?
Okay.
You are on the -5, meaning that you got 95 yards to go for a touchdown.
Okay.
And it's 3rd and 14. And you have a decision to make as to whether or not, you're going to throw a pass, you're going to run. What are you going to do in this situation against the Jets? You're down by 4. Mm-hmm. You're on your own 5-yard line, and it's 3rd and 14, and you're playing against...
How much time left?
About 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
I have all my timeouts?
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Huh. Interesting. I because the Jets' offense doesn't scare me, I'd probably try to throw for the first down.
Okay.
And if I didn't get it, I'd probably punt, and then I'd go after the young quarterback and try to get one more possession to try to flip the field, get good field position on the back.
You're going to punt out of your own end zone, essentially.
If I don't get it, I'm probably not going to go for 4th and 14. I probably would not with that Jets offense.
14, there's no way.
Well, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I would do. I don't know.
All right, well, that's one of the things you could do.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a head coaching candidate here.
I know, but I'm saying, well, how about it's third down. You're down. You got 3rd and 14. You're down by 4. Does being down by 6 make a difference to you?
No, you still got to score a touchdown.
Right. So why not just take a safety? They kick from your own 20-yard line, flip the field, get your defense out there, stuff the other team. They're going to run it twice to get you to use your timeouts, most likely.
Take that safety.
Take your timeouts, right? Take your 2 timeouts. And then maybe they throw on the next down. Maybe they run on the next down.
That's why you're the genius that you are.
Right. And then, then they will punt the ball back to you. And instead of being on your 5-yard line at 3rd and 14, maybe now you're on your 25 to 40-yard line, depending on whether or not it's a good punt, whether or not you got a return. You got 1 timeout left, and you're still north of the 2-minute warning.
So this is the type of stuff that happens in these interviews, you think?
This is stuff I would be asking.
Yeah.
I would want to know situational football, and I would take every single aspect of the last 4 games that we just saw, divisional weekend, because there were a million situations.
Yeah.
Vrabel went for 2 when he didn't have to.
Yeah.
Right? You had what happened to Buffalo the last 13 seconds. That should have never happened. These are all situational aspects of why I want a coach on the sideline who knows what the F he's doing and how to handle a game and make the really crucial decisions in the biggest of moments. And as a broadcaster who actually did 18, 19 games years on Westwood One, I saw a lot of these things unfold.
Sure.
And you see certain coaches basically fold and make the wrong decisions because there's too much crap going on and they can't handle it. And then you see the really, really great coaches understand their present situation, and then they try to attach whatever analytics that may be apropos for that situation. But they got to feel the game. Remember when Bill Belichick, I think he was on his own 35-yard line going against Peyton Manning, and they threw a pass to Wes Welker on like 4th and 5, and they didn't make it. And, after the game, everybody said, how come you didn't punt there and play defense? And he goes, were you watching the same game I was watching? Our defense couldn't stop Peyton Manning. The only way I could stop Peyton Manning is if I keep the ball away from Peyton Manning.
Sure, yeah.
And he was aware that his defense was not in good shape that night, and Peyton Manning was, steamrolling him. And that's the kind of situational football that, not every coach has the balls to actually try to pull off, because he knows after the game, if he plays it safe, everybody's going to understand why he did what he did. But if he does like what Bill Belichick did, a guy that's not Bill Belichick may end up getting fired for something like that.
Sure. And the Giants need to find that guy who's great in those situations and has the balls.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the red bell so you're notified when we have new content.